Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome everyone to our study review. Today, we're taking a look at the Ganita Prakash, the grade 8 mathematics syllabus. Now, I know, looking at the entire syllabus at the start of the year can feel, well, pretty daunting. It usually just looks like this giant mountain of complex words and rules, right? But today, we're going to completely flip that perspective. I want you to look at this syllabus not as some impossible test, but as a magical treasure map that we're going to explore together.
Here is our map for today. We'll start with the Ganita Prakash study map, then move into numbers and rapid growth, followed by algebra and shape design. After that, it's ratios and detective puzzles, then some real-world math applications, and we'll wrap up with a quick practice knowledge check.
All right, Section 1, Ganita Prakash Study Map, your guide to grade 8 mathematics. Fun fact, Ganita Prakash literally translates to the light of mathematics, and that's exactly what it's going to be for us this year.
Now, what's absolutely brilliant about this slide is how perfectly it organizes our journey. Look at how the map branches out into 6 specific keywords we need to master. We've got square numbers, exponents and powers, algebra and distributivity, geometry and quadrilaterals, ratios and proportions, and finally, problem solving and puzzles. By breaking the year down into these 6 branches, what seemed totally impossible suddenly becomes, much more approachable and manageable.
Moving right along to Section 2, Numbers and Rapid Growth, Exploring Squares and Exponents.
So our very first tool is square numbers. In the simplest terms, when a number is multiplied by itself, it forms a perfect grid. To visualize this, think about your morning school assembly. If you line up 5 rows of students and there are exactly 5 students in every single row, you've just made a perfect square grid of 25 students. That visual of a perfectly balanced grid, yeah, that is literally a square number in action.
Now, while square numbers make these nice, orderly grids, exponents and powers are all about super fast exponential growth. Think of it like this. A square number is orderly, but an exponent is explosive. It's exactly like a viral WhatsApp message. You send a funny message to 3 friends, they immediately forward it to 3 of their friends, and those 9 people send it to 3 more. In minutes, hundreds of phones are pinging. That crazy, rapid multiplying growth from phone to phone, that's exactly what exponents and powers measure.
Okay, let's jump into Section 3, Algebra and Shape Design, Distributivity and Quadrilaterals.
First up in this section, we have algebra and distributivity. I know, that sounds super intimidating, right? But all it really means is spreading parts evenly across different groups. Imagine you're putting together mixed gift boxes for a big festival like Diwali. If you've got a huge bag of mithai, sweets, and a big bag of namkeen snacks, distributivity is simply the mathematical tool you use to make sure every single gift box gets the exact same amount of sweets and snacks. You're literally just distributing the joy evenly.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next topic, geometry and quadrilaterals. These are 4-sided shapes that set spatial boundaries using specific angles and sides. You honestly see quadrilaterals every single day. When you're marking the boundaries for a neighborhood cricket pitch, or when you look up and see the beautiful diamond shape of a kite fly in the sky, you are looking at quadrilaterals. Geometry is just the tool we use to understand, measure, and recreate these everyday shapes.
Next up, Section 4, Ratios and Detective Puzzles, Proportions and Problem Solving.
Let's take a closer look at ratios and proportions. The textbook definition is the comparative relationship between different amounts. But let's make that real. Have you ever tried making the perfect morning chai? You can't just throw things in a pot randomly. You need a very specific ratio, an exact balance of tea leaves, milk, water, and sugar. Keeping that perfect comparative balance, whether you're making 1 cup for yourself or 20 cups for the whole family, that is ratios and proportions at work.
The final branch of our map is problem solving and puzzles, piecing together the clues. This is where math gets genuinely fun. Instead of just doing standard calculations, you get to think like a famous CID detective. You're handed a mystery, given numerical clues, and you have to use logic to piece them together and crack the case. It's the ultimate test of your analytical thinking.
All right, Section 5, Real-World Math Applications, Planning a School Event.
So, we've explored the whole map, but what's the point of it all? Let's get to the climax of our story, planning a massive school mela. Let's walk through the steps. Step 1 is budgeting. To buy ingredients for the food stalls without running out of money, we use ratios and proportions. Step 2 is the tent layout, figuring out how much space we have for game stalls and how to set the boundaries. For that, we rely on geometry and quadrilaterals. And step 3 is preparing the gift bags. To divide the prizes perfectly among the winners, we use algebra and distributiveness. See? Every single real-world action here is powered by these exact keywords from our map.
Okay, let's move on and see how this all builds up. Section 6, Practice Knowledge Check. Let's test your syllabus mastery.
Question number 1. Which tool helps balance a recipe? Think back to brewing that perfect morning chai. Go ahead, shout out the correct keyword from the map. Yep, absolutely right. It's ratios and proportions. You need that comparative relationship to get the flavor perfectly set.
Question 2. Which tool describes arranging items in a perfect grid? Remember the students standing side by side in the morning assembly? If you said square numbers, you hit the nail on the head. Multiplying a number by itself gives us that perfectly structured grid.
Final question. Which tool involves making four-sided spatial boundaries? Think of the boundaries of the neighborhood cricket pitch or the shape of a flying kite. Yes, it's geometry and quadrilaterals. Incredible job piecing those clues together.
We're wrapping up today's review with this final thought. Ganita Prakash Grade 8 Mathematics is not just a syllabus, it's a toolkit for the real world. You aren't just memorizing numbers to pass a test. You're gathering tools that you'll use to solve real problems, build real things, and just better understand the world around you tomorrow. So looking at this magical map, which tool are you most excited to master first?